One of the most overlooked factors when planning retirement is the psychological challenges of retiring. Most of these challenges revolve around your post-work identity. We work a whole career, 30, 40, 60 years in a job, and we kind of take on that identity. If I'm an accountant, I think I'm an accountant. People ask, what do you do? That's a very common phrase when you meet people and you go to a party or you go to some kind of an event. People ask you, what do you do? And instead of saying, well, I go hiking or I like to cook a lot, 99% of people will answer, I'm an accountant, or they'll answer with their jobs. So then when we leave our jobs, we have to recenter our whole identity. The more our identity is focused around what we do, what our job is, the harder it is to adjust to retirement. If you are retired and have any of these same experiences, I'd love to hear what they are. Comment down below this video and give us a like. As we've been writing the retirement download and morning download newsletters, and I've been doing these videos for a couple of years, I've talked to a lot of people. In fact, the #1 video on this channel is one about my experience when I retired early and struggled with who I am. And a lot of people, over 2,000 people, have commented on that video and shared similar experiences. And it feels like when we retire, it can be a scary thing. And a lot of people push it off, just one more year and then one more year, and they just keep pushing it off because they don't want to step into the unknown and recreate their identity. And what happens when we haven't created an identity outside of work is most people, when they retire, they just end up spending time watching TV. And people that retire from age 65 to 75 have nearly 7 hours of leisure time per day. And most of that leisure time, if they don't have a plan, is taken up by just watching TV. And they can miss some of the respect and admiration and responsibility and encouragement that they get from having a job. And you go from that, especially if you have a very high reward job, to having 7 hours of free time and you don't know what to do with it, and your identity is tied up with your work. So one of the important questions to ask when you're preparing for retirement is work what I do, or is it all that I am? And the more you can rephrase your mind into thinking work is something that I do, even if you love your job and it's very all-encompassing, if you're an entrepreneur and you've started a company or you've worked your way up the ladder, whatever you do, and you're very proud of that, try to frame your mind into thinking that work is what I do, it's not what I am. Because the truth is that even those who believe their jobs may not define them, you might discover otherwise when you leave, which is why retirement planners often say that it's best to plan your retirement 5 years ahead, get everything in order, and then slowly transition your hobbies, build up some hobbies, create a group of friends, do things outside of work. Doesn't mean that you're going to phone it in at work, but try to make work not the central focus of your life, and work on your identity outside of work. Think of yourself as maybe an adventurer, an entertainer, a parent, or a leader in your community. Some role that you can take on, or multiple roles that you can take on that are outside of work will help you bridge the identity gap. So if you're an accountant, for example, that you can start to do accounting at home, or maybe help some family or friends with their accounting, something that is tied to what you do or what you do as a job, but can turn into a hobby. And that can also help you earn extra income in retirement if you'd like, turning your job into a part-time job or into a hobby. This all is encompassed in something called designing your post-work life. What do you want your life to look like after you're not going to the 9 to 5? What do you want to do with your time? And who do you want to be? What your identity is? What do you want to take on? Start to develop that identity before you retire. Doing so will help you transition more smoothly into retirement, because you won't be giving up, in addition to giving up a paycheck, you won't be giving up a big chunk of your identity when you reframe your mind to say, work is something that I do, it's not something who I am. And that will help with the transition. So if you like this content, then please like this video and subscribe, share it with friends who might be getting ready to retire. And if you want to read more about what's happening in the market and specifically retirement issues, then go to retirementdownload.com or morningdownload.com and subscribe to the free newsletter. And we'll see you next time.